Lee Kuan Yew was highly celebrated till tomorrow as one of the greatest Nigerian leaders who have ever lived on this earth. One of the things that Lee Kuan Yew is for transforming Singapore from a third world country to a first world country. And Lee did a very good job that even till he was 91 years old, he was minister mentor in Singapore and was credited for the progress and the growth of the great country, Singapore. Singapore Airlines happens to be one of the best airlines in the world. They have some of the best airplanes you can imagine. Their economy is so great that a lot of countries are now setting up their East Asian headquarters in Singapore. Now, why was it possible and easy for Lee Kuan Yew to be able to achieve what he achieved? One of the reasons was because Singapore was a small country, was about a population of about 3 million, 1.82 million actually, when Lee Kuan Yew was president of Singapore. Now, interesting part is that population is the size of my local government, Lagos Mainland local government, plus the LCDA in Ebute Metta, and if you had Surulere and maybe Bariga LCDA to it, we would probably be bigger than Singapore. And that inspired me to believe that if we can change the world in our own little corner, if you can start from your own Singapore, your own little community, and create that change. We have 774 local governments in Nigeria. If we can get 774 vibrant, inspiring, challenging, courageous, innovative young people as chairmen in those local governments, we would have ended up making Nigeria great again. I am passionate about making Nigeria work. I have very strong belief that Nigeria has to work, either as a country in the presidential system or a parliamentary system, but this country has got to grow, it's got to develop, it's got to work. This is the only place that we have to call home. But the reality is Nigeria is not going to work by just wishful thinking. I loved what the last speaker said. But interestingly, everybody has come up here and talked about how government is not working and is not effective. The last speaker had just spoken about how government have not been able to be effective in ensuring that IDPs are well taken care of. But the reality is that we are the government. We have the government. Democracy is the government of the people, by the people, for the people. But when we see our responsibility, our rights, and our obligations to the government and let them decide what happens to us, we lose the value of what makes our country work. And that was what challenged me, and I said, I have seen too much poverty in Nigeria. I left this country when I was a teenager. I was about 16 years old. I moved to England. I did my first degree. I did my master's, and on and on. And I have seen economies grow. I've seen nations develop. I've seen countries move. Been to about 30 to 40 countries of the world so far in my life. Have seen development all over the world. And I believe that this thing can happen. And so, like Lee Kuan Yew, I decided to also stand up and make my community work. That if I can stand up to be counted, maybe I would inspire other young people in their own local communities to make a difference, to make a change, and to ensure that we can all rise. And if we light our candle with another candle, we will create light across the whole country. And that was what inspired me to run for chairmanship in Lagos Mainland local government, my own little Singapore, to see that peradventure, if I was able to create some lasting change in Lagos Mainland local government, partnering with other local governments through the conference Access 57, in Lagos State, we might be able to have turned the state around to complement the effort of our amiable governor, Akinwumi Ambode, and that was my inspiration. But unfortunately, I never became the chairman. But fortunately, I learned a lot in the process. And I wanted to share with you 9 things I learned in the process, which I also learned from Lee Kuan Yew, that I believe that every Nigerian needs to be aware of. Number 1 is intentional leadership, and this is where I need my projector control. Intentional leadership. It is important that we understand that we cannot achieve greatness in this country. We cannot make Nigeria work. We cannot transform our nation. We cannot change the trajectory of this country if we don't have intentional leadership. At every election, we hear the same names being circulated, from Atiku to Buhari to Donald Duke to Obasanjo, name them, the same names at every election. And none of these names are mentioned because of their competence, because of their capacity, but largely because of their tribe and their region. It's always, it's time for the North. It's Kwakwanso, it's El Rufai, it's Buhari coming back again, and it's Atiku Abubakar. Nothing against those fantastic gentlemen, but the challenge is we need to refresh Nigeria. We need to create a new trajectory for our nation. And we need young, bright minds who can take our country to a greater place, irrespective of their tribe, their region, and where they've come from in this country. Who have a vision, a roadmap, and want to make Nigeria great again. Not because of anything, or because they're Northerner, or they're Southerner, or they are from the Middle Belt, because they just want to make Nigeria great again. We have to be intentional. When I was going to go into politics, I understood that everything I was going to do was going to be a forward going, no going back. It was either I was ready to pay the price or not. Lucky for me, the area I was coming out from was Lagos Mainland local government, one of the strongest local governments in Lagos State, and one of the first local governments ever created in Lagos State. As a matter of fact, up to Surulere and Apapa, many of them were part of Lagos Mainland many years ago. So Lagos Mainland is a stronghold, a particular caucus, group, and tribe. I've been chairman in that particular local government. And one of the attributes of being a chairman in that local government must have been that you are in your maybe 40s, or you have a big belly. I'm growing it. Or, you know, you have to be an old man. So for somebody of my age, in my early 30s, to decide to run for chairman in the local government was very laughable. They looked at me, and when I first got there, they thought I was joking. They thought I was unrealistic. As a matter of fact, I went to meet a legislator in my local government who said, bros, go and start from councillor. You need to, you know, go and, you know, start working for the party at councillor level. Maybe they will think about you someday very soon. And then, you know, they said all of those things. And I said to them, I'm not too young to run. And now I don't say it from the word of my mouth. I say with my actions. So I left back from that gentleman that day. I went to my team. I said, guys, we are not too young to run. And we started launching our project. Our first project was a capacity building program, a vocational training program for 7,000 people. We actually opened up for 10,000 people. We ended up training 7,000 because we didn't have enough more people. 7,000 women, youth, and children who came out to be trained in over 40 vocational skills for 3 weeks, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. For 3 weeks, every day. We wanted them to know that we meant business. And for me, I know that action speaks louder than voice. It's not for me to tell you what I'm going to do. I like to show you what I'm going to do. So what did we do? We had the programs, and every day during the trainings, we had a mentor who would come and speak and address the young people before they begin their classes. I can tell you, I walk on the street of Lagos today in a particular Butemeta, and I see them selling Izal, selling body cream, selling soap, and they're saying, we learned that from your vocational training program. They're on my Instagram page at Dayo Israel. I always share their testimonies there. I remember recently a young girl, her name is Abimbola Esther. She's on my Instagram page as well. She came to me and said last year she didn't have an admission. She was just home. She didn't have anywhere to go. She didn't know what she wanted to do. She came for the vocational training. This year she's in UNILAG, and not just a student of UNILAG, she is also producing shoes and bags, and she's actually now training other people. She did training for 40 people recently. And that's what governance must be about. Impactful, measurable, with result that drives us. We need leadership that is intentional. People who know what to do, but our democracy and our politics is killing innovation and intentional leadership. They tell you if you want to run, you actually should not come out. Don't tell them your idea. Don't show like you're interested. So we let people who have a passion, who know what to do, we silence them because we don't want them to look ambitious. But unfortunately, I am unapologetically ambitious, and I have no regret about it because my ambition is about people. And that takes me to my second point. But before I give you my second point, which is where I'm going to wrap up, because I'm not sure my time allows me to go through the rest, so after we did the vocational training program, there were 7,000 people. We had a graduation ceremony. Imagine 7,000 people in one space in Okobaba, canopies, chairs. All of them had the First Lady of Cross River State, Mrs. Onari Duke, and a few VIPs who came to the graduation. The party chairman of my party, my local government, was also present there, and a few other leaders in the local government. And that was when they knew that we were serious. But that wasn't the end. We did health fairs, 15 different health fairs in the local government. I did a cervical cancer test for some people. One day I was going in the community, And I saw, I went to inspect the cervical cancer test program. I saw a woman who was homeless, sleeping in a passage, and she was pregnant. And she said she didn't have a house. So I said to God, because I'm a prayer person, I said, God, if you bless me, I want to bless these people. And God blessed me with some money, and I told my team, go and find me a brand new 2-bedroom flat, furnish it from beginning to the end. It was totally empty. It was brand new. Nobody ever lived there before. We put beds, we put TV, we put stove, we put everything from beginning to the end. All they had to do was just walk inside. They had to bring nothing. And we brought the ballet of the community. We brought the leaders to come and see how we intend to change people's life one family after the other. Because we need to be intentional about the change that we want to see. We can go ahead and shout, not too young to run, not too young to run, not too young to run. But our judgment or our case and our argument is not based on because we're young, but because we can deliver a result, and we have to show. It says, be an example in what you do and in what you say. So we must show intentional leadership. Number 2 is competence. We must build our competence and our capacity. I didn't get here by mistake. At the age of 14, I was elected into the Children's Parliament of Nigeria as the first Deputy Senate President. In 2000, I'm not going to tell you my age. At the age of, so if I tell you the year, you calculate my age. At the age of 17, I became a one-day commissioner for information in Lagos State. I've been running NGO since I was about the age of 9. At the age of 16, I held a UN Young General Assembly session in Nigeria. So those humanitarian activities, those advocacy projects over the years have been helping me to build my capacity. And that's why, for example, right now, I'm focusing a lot on helping other young people to start early. On Friday next week at the Teslim Balogun Stadium in Surulere, I'm holding the Lagos Student Convention. The First Lady will be there and a few other people. We're bringing about 3,000 students together into one room. And the tip is start early, build your future now. Because I believe that if our young people are starting at the age of 5, at the age of 7, and they're beginning to identify their purpose, understand why they're here, they're going to be able to, by the time they're 18, they're 20, they would have achieved a lot to be elected into House of Assembly at the age of 20. And that is our vision for a great Nigeria. Number 3 is influence. Influence. What is success? Success is influencing the world around you with the investment of your personality. I ran for election. I probably didn't win, but that was not the end of it. Right now, across the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria, our NGO is holding the Nigerian Emerging Political Leaders Forum. We just had one in Lagos, about 4,000 young people. We're going to South Calabar on the 24th of November and Southeast on the Imo State on the 18th of November to raise over 6,000 young people, empower them, and equip them who want to go into public office and politics. If we all come and complain about how Nigeria is not working, we need to fill that place with our people. I want to fill Lagos House of Assembly with young, vibrant, innovative people who can go in there and pass laws that will be in the best interest of the people. I want to do the same thing across the 36 states of our federation. We have to be intentional about the change that we want to see in Nigeria, and that is important. And we have to be courageous and bold to rise up. We must have resilience. We must never give up. The week after our party announced the consensus candidate and I wasn't selected to be the chairman, I still ran projects in my community to let them know that young people have the energy and the vibrancy to run and to get our vision achieved, to make our vision achievable. They think that young people, when they come out and say want to run, if they don't win, they go back to their job. And we're saying to them, no, we have the resilience. And we'll let you know that we're serious and intentional about the change that we want to see. Self-efficacy is very important because that's one of the things that Lee Kuan Yew had. He believed that he was able to do it. You must believe in yourself. You must believe that you can achieve anything. I was raised by a single mother. I lost my father when I was 11. So it wasn't an issue of raising affluent or anything. It was just an issue of growing up in a Butemeta, in a room and parlor with 9 other people and believing that anything was possible. And that is what has always helped me till today. And you must understand, when you go through challenge in life, they're to prepare you for the greatest that is ahead. I went through so much when I was growing up. I had no idea. And all those experience was preparing for the challenges I was going to keep overcoming today. Number 6, collaboration. You must collaborate. You must network. You can't do it alone. You can't achieve it alone. It's not about you. Yes, I want to lead in different ways that God gave me the privilege. But it's not just about me. I want to see more young people running for office, successful. And that's why we launched a project called Ready, Run, Win. You can follow the hashtag on Twitter, hashtag Ready, Run, Win, our program where we're training other young people. Let's have a movement. Let's get more of us into government, into civil service, special assistant, as senators, as House of Assembly members. And we will not be worried about all those problems we're complaining about because we're getting the right people into governance. And the result of which is going to be transformation, global influence, and finally, succession planning. The leaders, some of them, are tired and they're ready to go, but they've not found people that they can hand over to. So if we do not come out and choose to shine and choose to project ourselves to become people that they can trust with influence, with powers, with responsibility, and we're shy because we don't want to be seen as ambitious, then we're doing this nation a disservice. No man lights a candle and put it under a table. We have to stop what we do in Africa, where we're told, Tishwenibata Amanfawa Bojeni, to be able to be bold and courageous, to come out. Because when David got to the field and Goliath was making noise, David didn't keep quiet. He kept on saying, if only I get a chance to face this guy, I will bring down this idiot. If you believe you can do it and you can say it, it is possible. My name is Dayo Israel, and I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as Dayo Israel. Thank you, and God bless you.